Okay, back with more Ace Attorney. I think we're finally finishing the. I think this is the end. Final day, final trial, final part of the trial. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm sure it's still going. So let's just get into it and get it done. Continue. Oh wait, that's not right. What? No. What? Wait. What? Is this right? I don't remember. This is defendant's lobby, alright, but there's no defendant? I've been trying to reach Lana all morning. Where could she be? And where's Emma for that matter? It almost seems as if something's been happening behind the scenes. Edgeworth. Knowing you, you've already figured it out. Oh wait. What? What was the last thing that I did? Oh my god, I don't remember. You're the owner of 7777. Okay. ID number is that. Well, I have a pretty strong hunch. Looks like I'm not the only one who's figured it out. You know, the only reason the trial didn't reach a verdict yesterday is because there's still room for doubt regarding this record. I feel like I read this. I don't remember. That number does belong to whom you suspect, then no doubt will remain. After all, he hasn't been officially charged with anything. I feel like I read this. Hold on. Oh my god, it's this one. Yes. I was like, what did I do last? I could... Jesus. Sorry, Edgeworth. Didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. Wait. Is that not right? I don't know. I feel like I read this already, though. I guess I did it. Sorry, Edgeworth. Didn't mean to get you into trouble. Don't worry about it. It's my problem, not yours. I hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Guess I am. Come back later. I feel like I read this already, though. Am I just... I guess I'm just a bit dumb. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? Got a lot of nerve, pal. Making a detective run around while on duty. To top it off, you call me here. Seen happy people at funerals. Take it, Lana's having you run errands again. Tell you this is last time, pal. Oh. Oh. She's giving us something different. That's what I thought. Because she did the same thing last time. Here, she asked me to give you this in case there is a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule number 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Okay. I thought it was literally the same thing, because last time she did the same thing. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. Message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. I guess they'll need to give this book a thorough read. Okay. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? I'm still sitting in the prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Credibility's been has been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were aware of. And the Sky found out she was unwittingly caused a man's death. Now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife in his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him, no matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Now we're starting. Courts will now reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Mr. Edgeworth, Your Honor, the inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. Solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. And it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Defense calls. Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Miss Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this? Some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir? Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play the hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up the SO9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. I guess we're... Okay. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, he slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. When Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see, everything seems pretty clear-cut. The police chief has the right to refuse to testify, and I'd better hit him hard and fast. Okay, let's just pass for now. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. That's right, I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. It's probably what spooked Dark, made him run away like that. Was the defendant Lana Skye also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first, so Neil and I split up. He went upstairs, I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden, and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil when that knife went through his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Oh, wait. Ah! Oh, wait. I'm like, what did I just do? Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap of the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier, it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor? Yes. Anyway. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Milana must have felt. Removing a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. So that's how it really went down. Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you better be off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. Which piece of evidence ties Gant to forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence. That can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. What do I present? Okay, wait. Actually, can I look at this? Rules for submitting evidence. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of police department. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Okay. I guess I present one of the pieces that we found. It was this, and then what else did we find? We found the list? Yeah, okay. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? And what's that on it? A handprint. Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know. You tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know? The second rule of evidence law. Uh-oh, not this again. Evidence law. Oh. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this case? Appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay. I'll do it, just this once. But only because you asked, Oji. Thank you, I assure you. The defense is terribly sorry. Haha. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Oh. I really thought that was it. The music stopped and everything. I guess maybe that one? You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that that is a claim you cannot back up. Is this what it is? Okay. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this list for example. That's the list and the sky drew her picture on. This was discovered in your desk. Not only that, but a piece of this jar was sitting in front of your office. It was found inside your safe. Oh, that was, I was like, what else did we find? It was the jar. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant? These articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in a legal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you mean it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in the light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, in the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the chief of police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy, in return though. I know, that place, right? Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? For all I know, you could have used that in the office. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rido's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they will prove his investigation was illegal. I never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. They were found after Dark was convicted. Oh wait. This is the... I just kept reading. Can't prove when those... Okay. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose they did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, Rido. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. After you're saying... Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It appears not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have been suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The Chief is talking about the possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Rido. Think about it. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one very large benefit you've reaped from all of this. Oh, I wasn't aware. Oh, I didn't mean to skip that. That would, of course, be the position you have, Chief of Police. Oh! The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without the case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SO9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Jesus. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes. He was going to be made chief anyway. Gah. Be careful when pointing at that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. Where you didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Uji, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. Oh. Nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl. Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho! That's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? True, you might not help out anyone for their sake, but it would benefit you. You might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Lana. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky, the defendant. I believe it's quite obvious in the light of circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SO9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor of the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He'd be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Oh wait, you must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite the imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless that is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about the murder detective Briss Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? What? Order, order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder? That's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. Looks like he's the one who decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief of the high-ranking officer of the law is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it better be good. Shows the evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. The sheet... Where was that? Yes. I think this is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list. We couldn't determine the owner yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It is your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Oh. We're getting through to him. Order, order. Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished in the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it. You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days, Chief Gant? I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? The trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. The trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. I would think the list again. Let me just check. I'll see how. No, that's the ID card. Yeah, I would think the list. It was the transferal day too. What? On that day, Detective Goodman had to go see Chief Gant. Oh, shoot. Oh, can only be submitted to the chief of police. Maybe this? Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you're in position. Excuse me. I think I just burped. Yeah, you're in position of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to. Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Here we go. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detectives to the evidence room. I accompanied him. There's no other way the murderer and the Detective Goodman could have entered the room. The murderer. I couldn't say that word. Hold on. Let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor Goodman. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just let him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe... Oh. Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. But if you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Oh! We're getting to him. Oh my god. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime for the one in their right mind. Would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana, the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. A. That the victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did you manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone was aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. Let me save. I don't really know how he moved the body. I'm kind of lost. You lost me. To move the victim's body, Chief can't use this. Oh, wait. He could have stuck the body in there when Miles drove there. Right? After the thing. This is how he moved Detective Goodman's body. A parking stub, Miles Edgeworth. You mean... Oh my god, he drove with a body in his... I don't remember this. He drove with a body in his car without his knowledge. That's crazy. Can you imagine? The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body. Precisely so. But wait, even you know, I didn't plan on returning to my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me why. Ah! I was asked to go by Chief Gant no less. Told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. Oh. Okay, on the day of the stabbing, so I brought this back here. So you see, what you really were taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the victim's body in your trunk. That's crazy. I don't remember this. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless of course you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transfer evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transfer the body to your accomplice, Laslana Sky. Order, order, order! What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal in the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It is a photo of the body being taken out from the trunk. Chief Gant, please say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get it going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier. A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're just going to run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman. Is that what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof to get it over with. I'll state it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. The court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright, Your Honor, do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? Maybe? I guess. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of the doubt. My mind just blinked out. Wait, what? It better prove Chief Gant's murder. Let me drink some water and think. I have no idea. Oh God. Ooh, excuse me. Huh. I have no idea. I have no idea. Okay, I guess I'll just guess, and then maybe this was. Oh my god, wait, was I right? No, there's no way. I was like, let me just do this, because. Wait, what? Wait, was I right? So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof as to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt. I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Alright. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? That it's terribly wrong. Let me save. I guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. The court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Your Honor. Made Miss Sky dispose of the body. I don't think I have proof. It's no use in showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor. At present, I have no conclusive evidence. Siaji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip. Never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Aji. I'll leave the rest to you. Oh, shoot! Did I wait. Warned you earlier, Mr. A. This is an affront to the senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency. Oh, shoot. What? Oh my god. I really thought I was... Stop! I'm like, oh my god, am I right or am I wrong? I can't tell anymore. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else. One more witness who can answer all the questions. Raised in this trial, someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth. We can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth. Open God. Ugh! Stress. The defendant, Miss Lana Sky. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with the someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will convene to hear the defendant's testimony. Ugh! This court is now in... Hold on? Huh? Oh, he came back? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there'll be terrible consequences. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. This isn't good. Of course, you never support such outrageous claims anyways, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. She's got to, man. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief, he's something else, hey, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Hahaha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Don't worry. Already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take that the place of that top-knotted girl you used to work with. Could he mean... Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done it again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? It's not fair he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. Rest. What did he mean by that? It's simple. The chief refuses to testify. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Oh, Emma. Emma, are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in the medical office. Been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I always feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think all this time. My sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all. Just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the chief told her to do. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery. But he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait No, I'm going with you. I want to be there. When Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. I hope it's time to end this. Okay. Oh my god, yes, please. Save that.